Today I have a guest on. It's straight from the UK. His name is Jules, and we'll be talking about his journey and how he discovered what his niche was. Because that's what today's podcast is all about. It's about how you can find a profitable niche for your lifestyle business and stand out from the crowd. And when you listen to this interview, you'll see that it wasn't an easy journey for Jules. He made a lot of mistakes, he struggled, but he kept moving forward, which is what really matters. When I work with clients, one of the biggest obstacles we have in the beginning is figuring out their niche, which is why I wanted to get someone on the line to share their personal and real story of what it takes to not only find your niche, but also build an online business that works. So with that said, here's the interview. Okay, so I'm here with Jules Watkins. How are you doing, Jules?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Doing good. So could you introduce yourself briefly to the listeners, because I tend to completely butcher introductions, so maybe you're better at that.
Oh, right. So yes, well, thanks for the introduction that you've already done. But I'm Jules, and I live here in London, in the UK. And my background, going back years and years, was in photography actually. But then photography got me into working in television, and I worked my butt off to get up to be a level of a producer and director in TV for TV shows, mostly kind of reality and fun documentary type shows for BBC, Channel 4, MTV over here in London. And then I suddenly discovered the amazing world of the internet. And it's a couple of years ago getting interested and branching out into that and moving my whole kind of future business strategy into the internet.
So you're still working, or do you have, is the online business everything you do now?
No, not almost everything, but not quite. I also make videos. I get requests sometimes from entrepreneurs or businesses who want some cool looking videos. So I do make videos sometimes, but I'm much more focused on creating this online business where I can leverage my time a lot better.
Okay, so before we go into kind of the backstory and how it all started, what are you doing now?
I'm creating video products, and I've got one particularly successful product that I've created, which is called iPhone Video Hero, where I teach business owners, entrepreneurs, bloggers how to leverage the video camera in their iPhone or their iPod or even their iPad and make awesome videos to market their businesses, to create information products, to do affiliate videos, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah. So I'm assuming this didn't happen overnight. So where did it all start? Where did you get started when it comes to building when did you start building your online business?
Yes, well, when I got started was probably about 2 years ago, really. I was working really, really hard in TV. It's a great job, and it's kind of glamorous, but it is absolutely on your time. It's absolutely, the use of your time is shocking because you never know where you are from 1 minute to the next, one weekend to the next. Absolutely crazy. So I was looking around on the internet thinking, well, maybe there's something out there for me. And I started looking at various blogs, marketing blogs, but I happened to stumble upon a guy called Jim Kukral, who is an American marketer and author. And he had a separate site where I hit on the site, and it was a video of him filming himself going to the dentist using a flip video camera. Now that might sound a bit crazy. When I saw it, I thought, what the heck's he doing that for? But ultimately, his site was an affiliate, a very, very niche affiliate site, and he was showing how cool the flip video camera was, the quality and how portable it was, and that he was using his trip to the dentist as an example. And ultimately, he was getting you to click onto Amazon to actually get hold of a flip. Now, here in the UK, the flip wasn't well known at all. And me being in TV and loving video, I thought, hang on, maybe I could introduce the idea of this flip camera into a UK audience. And maybe it's a way for me to get started going very, very niche and creating something pretty simple. So what I did was I wanted to get experience with blogging. So I set up a blog, which is still out there, although I don't update it much at all, hardly. It's called myflip.co.uk. My first ever blog, my first ever website, and all I did was blog about different features of the flip, different accessories with examples of videos, and just built up keywords all around the flip. And of course, I was affiliate linking off to to Amazon.
So, I mean, where did that? What did you do next from there? I mean, I'm assuming you didn't bring in a lot of money doing this, just that.
Well, good point. What I did was I was using it as an experiment, really, because of course everybody says, yeah, you can make money blogging, you can do this and do that. I
Yeah.
didn't believe any of it. So what I did in terms of the monetization, actually, what I did is it got me quite high up in the rankings. I got a lot of traffic, and I was checking back on some stats. And in 1 year, the actual sales value, the actual amount of total sales was in the $25,000 mark from that site.
Okay.
Amazon sales, not my
Yeah.
commission, but
Yeah.
literally by having a flow of targeted traffic who are seeking to buy something. So I would do posts about, what is the best iPhone case, or sorry, iPhone, the best flip case, or what is the good flip skin, or so I was targeting people who are maybe in buying mood, or which version of the flip to buy, that kind of stuff. So targeting people when they're looking to buy, they would go through and it would convert so well that I was getting a lot of sales on Amazon. I also tested by putting an ebook, which is still there. It's a flip video tips ebook, just to start building some kind of a list. So all very experimental, but to be honest, the very first flip that was sold via Amazon, I made about £4. That was the most significant thing ever, because once I had got one sale, I thought, hang on a minute, if I can just scale this or perhaps sell higher value products, then this could possibly work. So very important to me. The bad thing that happened to me, which again is to do with the niche, is that one day I got an email about maybe about a year and a half ago, from somebody saying, you better change your blog because Flip Video is no more. What happened is that the company who created Flip, who bought Flip from the creators, decided to stop producing it and cancel the whole project. And of course, I realized then that people, although Flip would be around for a while, people would be firstly angry about that, and secondly they'd stop buying it. So my blog days of that blog were numbered, but it gave me confidence to look around and start looking into other niches, and that's when I started getting interested in the iPhone.
But didn't you also you had a course on like pocket video cameras?
Yes, good. Yeah, good point. Yeah, you should back me up just one step. I was going to create a product purely for Flip, and I had this sort of hesitancy about doing that because I perhaps there is that danger that a product gets cancelled. So I was looking at other cameras as well, including the iPhone, as I've mentioned, but also there was the Kodak ZI8 or ZI8, which is a very popular camera. So I was looking at, I suppose, pocket cameras and thinking, right, I won't just focus on Flip, but I'll try and go to the sort of pocket camera market. And the reason I did that was because I noticed through Facebook groups and forums a lot of people, business people, asking questions about pocket cameras, which microphone, how to get the best out of it, how much memory can I get out of it, how to make my videos look good. So I noticed this going on, and I thought, right, I'll do a course targeted to people with pocket video cameras in general, and show them how to get great quality and show them what kind of videos they can film. So that was my first product. It was called Pocket Video Power, and yeah, that was definitely an adventure creating it.
So did you how did that do that product? Was it easy to sell and
It did.
what happened when you created it?
Yeah, it did. It's done pretty good, but it was absolutely my learning curve. I made loads of mistakes, and it was a kind of very interesting experience, kind of scary experience. I launched it with a small list of maybe about 150 people on the sort of list of people waiting to get on the to join. I didn't do things like have any kind of scarcity or make any kind of special offers, time limited offers. I just sort of launched it in a slightly weak manner. And but I was full of confidence. And honestly, on that first day, I was thinking, these people have shown interest, they've signed up on an opt-in. I'm going to sell 50 today. That was my belief. And it was $149 product. And I was sort of thinking, great, it's going to be a great day. And I basically switched it on, had a few technical issues as well with the login thing not working, and waited, and nothing happened. And I waited about 5 hours till I got the very first sale of it. So, and having me studied all these guru launches where they talk about, making 1 million on the first day and, they can't keep up with it, I was kind of thinking that might happen. And it didn't happen. I got one on the first day, I got maybe one on the second, and it was really quite slow at the beginning. It did pick up at one point, and I got a few in a week, but it wasn't this sort of perfect launch by any means. But again, it was another lesson on the way, and to where I was heading, and gave me a massive confidence that actually people would buy my product.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that you talk about it being kind of like an experiment, and it's that first course or product or even the first blog post you put out is always scary, and that's why it's so important to just kind of get it out there, and then when you actually get the results back, you can start tweaking things and learning from it, just like you did.
Absolutely. I mean, I can tell you a couple of other things I did. I probably made it, I did wrongly. I made it a little bit too big. Again, I was influenced by these kind of guru products. So I made it 5 weeks of content, 5 modules with sort of 8 or 9 videos in each one. And because when I do training, I don't just do screencasting, I actually go and film real situations and show real environments. So it wasn't quite as simple as sitting on my computer. So it was quite time consuming. And I mean, I launched it before I'd finished the course, which was fine. But on the other hand, wasn't really far enough ahead. So what I found is that the people that had joined I would get an automated email on a Sunday night saying your next week of content is now available for you, because I was drip feeding it. I wasn't hardly ready for the next week. So I was working flat out at the weekends and up to sort of Sunday at 10 o'clock, trying to finish the week's content before this email went out to release people into it. Now,
Yeah.
so to be honest, it turned out being a bit like a TV show where everything goes crazy and you're right up against the deadline, and and I treated it a bit like that as well to get it done. So on the one hand, it kind of helped me to get it done. On the other hand, it was a little bit too stressful. Looking back on it now, I would have done more. I would have got further ahead with it, and I would have kept it a lot slimmer as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's an important thing because I just talked to one client yesterday and he was creating this huge course and he didn't really know if people even wanted it. So it's really important to go for that kind of minimum viable product where you just create something and then see if people want to buy it and then get feedback on what else you can add to it.
Absolutely. That's I definitely recommend that. And again, you can use the drip feeding to help you with that. Not to promise too much, but by drip feeding it out over a few weeks, you don't have to have it all finished before you launch. And also things like webinar training where you can literally just sell it as a series of webinars and create the webinar a few days before each event.
Yeah. So how did you go from the pocket video camera course to the iPhone?
Well, this was sort of happening partly because of, as I mentioned, the demise of the flip, and I did cover flip inside the course, so I could see that flip was on the way out, and also Kodak had decided to not make pocket cameras as well, but it was more to do with a changing landscape. The landscape was changing in the fact that smartphones were now becoming the kind of the choice for pocket shooting, and new cameras emerging on the iPhone. And again, it was me looking around and seeing that huge amount of passionate owners of iDevices, iPhones, iPods, and iPads, and seeing the fact that it was extremely, probably the strongest brand in the world right now, Apple. So chances of it disappearing that fast, not so great. And partly because I actually love my iPhone, and I started realizing, in fact, it could do a lot more than what pocket cameras can do in terms of the way you can control it, the accessories that are being developed for it, the apps. So it really became like my number one choice for filming anything that didn't require like huge cameras. So my passion, then I looked around, I could see other people's passion for it, and I thought, well, why don't I take some of the content from my Pocket Video Power course, the best stuff related to iPhone, and create a specific, more a sub niche course purely aimed at iVideo fans. And so that's what I did.
So did you have any fears around the fact that you might be going too specific on just the iPhone?
Yes, I did. Again, these doubts come into your mind. Like, am I crazy? Like, because if you say to somebody in a pub, like, I'm doing a course about iPhone video, they look at you thinking, yeah, right, really? What do? You just press the button on and off. That's it, right? They
Yeah.
they don't understand the level of depth that you can, in terms of the controls and the apps, and also it's what you actually can use the camera for as well. So I had a big fear that people would think, I know how to use my iPhone. It's simple. That was my one fear. My second was just the kind of classical fear where you think, again, it's a new product. Will anybody buy it? Will they pay sufficient money that I think that it's worth, as opposed to um, buying apps? I had this fear that who own iPhones were used to paying $2 or whatever for an app and or on iTunes a music track, would they pay um not serious, proper money for a valuable training course? That was my biggest fear.
So did you come across any other obstacles while coming up with the idea for the niche?
Any other obstacles?
Yeah, any like fears or doubts?
Well, not really. I couldn't. Do you know what? I had this instinct that it was going to work, right? And I need to remember that. And I think it's a good lesson here. When you feel inside you like something is going to work and you're so excited about it, I had that feeling. And sometimes I get new ideas and I try and think, right, do I have that feeling about it or not? And that maybe hopefully might guide me. So the answer was I had this feeling that it was going to work. My thing at that point was getting it out on the market, because I think it was around October time that I was sort of starting to think about it. And I realized, we get to this period when people start, from December onwards, they start budgeting towards Christmas and thinking about all their expenses that they've got to go through. And so I thought, right, it's not going to be great to launch it in December. I want to launch it as early on in November as I can, and at least give people a chance to go through it, and then maybe do a second launch in January when people have received a lot of iPhones and iPads for their Christmas. So my fear was really getting it out on the market quick.
Yeah, and one thing I want to highlight again was is the kind of like you feel that an idea is good. It for me, it's always an idea that stays with me, because sometimes I have these bursts of ideas where an idea feels good for maybe a day or two and then it kind of fades off. But there are some ideas that stick with you and that are kind of like exciting and scary at the same time. Do you find that?
Absolutely. I think if I acted on all of those or most of those ideas, things could be really amazing. It,
Yeah.
I still though hold back a bit and think, do I really need to trust that instinct? So again, I think a lot of entrepreneurs go through that. You're really putting yourself out there, but that's what you have to do to be successful.
So what actually happened when you created the course? This one actually did much better than the Pocket Video one, right?
I mean, Pocket Video Power has done well. I've sold probably 200 copies of it or so. So I mean, I thought at the time, well, I was hoping to sell a lot more. But when I talk to other people who have made courses, they're like, wow, you've sold that many. So maybe I'm a bit overcritical, but yes, it's done better. What I did just a little bit talking about the launch a bit and things. What I advise and what I did for this product is having the squeeze page up while you're making the course. Okay, so don't wait, don't create the content, finish the product, and then think, right, now I'm going to launch it, because you can actually be building your audience while you're making it and getting feedback even before you've launched it. So what I did was I only had two videos. You only need two videos to start this off. You've got your squeeze page video and you've got one free content video. And so I had my opt-in page saying, I've got a really cool video. I'm going to show you an amazing app that can actually edit your videos for you. So just put your name and email down below and I'll see you over the other side. That was my first video, just really simple video. Then the other side, I gave them some training and I put Facebook comments down below and I had that up straight away. And as I was going around the web researching my product, helping people in forums, I would have my signature. It's called signature. I call it signature marketing. I have my signature in my forum posts, bringing people back to the squeeze page. I had it in my Facebook profile and everything. So I found I was getting people opting in every day to this, and that gave me this more confidence as I saw 5, 10, 15 people starting to opt in as I was making it. So again, that's one little strategy that I wanted to share.
Yeah, and I mean, the only thing you did in the forums was kind of help people, and then you had the link to your site, so people, you weren't promoting yourself or anything like that.
No, I wasn't promoting it. I was looking at their questions and trying to help them. People would spot the signature. Exactly right. And just getting yourself out and about there and spotting things. And of course, the other thing is that when I was thinking about the iPhone, you obviously when you create a product, look at where you might be able to find your audience. And of course, with the products in general, there's a lot of blogs and forums and places like that where people are discussing it. That's the beauty of going small with a niche, is it's much easier to find your target.
Yeah. So this time, did you build your list, like a bigger list before you launched, or did you just launch it with a small list and then go out and find people?
It was No, I just had a small list. I would say I probably got about 280 people onto that squeeze page list, which is not a huge amount. I had my list from my Pocket Video Power course of people that had bought it, and I had a squeeze page there as well. So I built up a list there of a few hundred. I had some from my Flip blog, which again, they weren't really interested in iPhone probably, so that wasn't particularly useful to me. But I had a bit of a bigger list for this product. So yeah, that gave me a bit of a head start. But the other tactics I did was I gave iPhone Video Hero free to people who had bought my Pocket Video Power course, and I did this buy it for a tweet or buy it for a Facebook like. I spotted it on Viper Chill. Glenn Alsop talks about, I think he's got a plugin where you can basically put up a button, and if somebody tweets or likes it, they can be sent through to a page where they can get the product for free.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think it's called Cloud Flood.
right. Is that the one? There's several around there. I can't actually remember which one I used, but all I did was I thought, right, look, these people have bought my first course. This one's going to be going even deeper. If they've got an iPhone, they're going to love this course. I'm not going to try and sort of sell it to them again. I'm going to say, if you bought this, then, I'm going to give you this free. All I need from you is a tweet or a like. And I noticed that I did get quite a nice buzz around the launch day itself. And more traffic than I'd expected. People started sharing it, and I did a special offer price for 3 days. So again, I learnt my lesson. I created some sense of deadline, of real deadline, not made up, deadline scarcity or whatever it's called. And I set a date and I said, look, you can come in and it's gonna be a crazy price. Get in now, and that definitely helped as well.
So how many copies did you sell that first day when you had the deadline?
I would say probably about 30 or so on that first day, maybe 20 the second day, another 10 or so. So probably about 50 in the first few days.
Okay, that's pretty good. So, what did you do after the launch to kind of keep the sales coming in and keep building your list?
Well, several things. One is I I make everybody who joins becomes an affiliate. That's one thing. So when they get inside, this is a kind of common thing you can see inside some products where they don't they don't hit you in the face with it, but they do tell you that if you like the product, then why don't you become an affiliate? So you get your people that love your product to become affiliates, which really helps, and that's definitely worked. I I'm always experimenting with squeeze pages and having one and not having one, and maybe using a page on Facebook, an iframe on a tab in Facebook for an opt-in. So looking at other ways of getting opt-ins is definitely useful. But I would say my probably the biggest thing I've done is connecting with other people with other audiences through podcasts like we're doing right now.
Yeah,
Podcasts, getting featured on in blogs, I've been very proactive in approaching people and identifying people that I think who have audiences who might like my product and helping them, if they've got video problems as well, helping them out. So yeah, and also doing more recently doing JV webinar events where I give some 45 minutes of good content and then I talk about the product, give them, a bonus or whatever. Those have worked as well.
yeah. And JV just stands for joint venture, where you go into, I'm assuming, someone else's audience, and you give them good stuff, and then at the end you mention your product.
Yeah, on a particularly on a webinar, webinars are great tools for selling products because it's an event. Again, you've got this kind of time sensitive thing. People want to get on the event, unlike a sales page, which people can come to at any time, 24/7, and they go to it and they think, well, I might, I'll think about this. I might come back in a month. With a webinar, it's like a date in the calendar. People will turn up for it. It's interactive, so they can ask questions. Um, it just feels something more special. And then, of course, with an event like that, you could offer. Sometimes my JV partner will offer a host, so that will offer a bonus. Sorry. So, for example, they might have another product, or they might have something to offer, so they can give an incentive for people to sign up during the time scale of the webinar, or after, or maybe the day afterwards, or whatever. So again, it's just asking people, giving people a good reason to buy your products. That's the webinar side of it. The other side of it is, the bottom line is that bloggers, as you well know, they want to monetize their blogs, right? So
Yeah.
the lesson here is create products that will help other people monetize their blogs. Look at successful blogs in your niche and think, what is a product that they could sell, that could have a banner on their sidebar, or they could blog about, guest post about. It could be in their resources section, it could be in their autoresponder, and come up with a product that fills their need.
So one thing I want to go back to is create or connecting with people. How do you do that? Like, specifically, do you just email people and introduce yourself, or is there some other way you go about it?
Send them a huge basket of flowers or something. No. I'm well, what do I do? Yes, I do email. I've tried all kind of ways via Facebook because everybody's so connected nowadays. So you could go onto somebody's Facebook page and say, "What's the best way to connect with you?" That kind of thing. You can email them direct off the blog. I think though I don't. What I try and do is, because the point being that over this last year and a half, 2 years, I've been inspired by a lot of bloggers out there and a lot of people who are teaching blogging or internet marketing. And so they genuinely helped me along the way. So I'm kind of fans of theirs already. So when I approach them, I just say, look, I've been a fan of yours. I first found your podcast 18 months ago. It's really helped me. I love this particular episode. So make it really apparent that you're not just somebody who's making this up, but that you are genuinely interested. I would also do a quick search on the blog to see if they own an iPhone, for example. A lot of bloggers will talk about their iPhone, or you'll see that they're uploading from their iPhone. So, again, I can see their interest, and I'll say to them, look, if you're interested in making some really cool videos, I'd love to let you into my training course, give you a free ticket. You've given me a lot. I want to give you something back. VIP ticket. Come inside, check it out. Tell me what you think. That's it. Not asking for anything. I'm giving them something, and I'm
Yeah.
genuine about it. And that that has really helped because some of these people, they do love their iPhones. They do want to make videos because they're blogging, and they're interested. And because I guess my product's pretty cool, if even if I say it myself, they're kind of attracted to it because it's a bit different. So they go in, and then some of them will email me back and say, "This is awesome, love it. I want to share this. What can we do? Can we do a podcast? Can you write me something? Have you got a video I can use? Whatever." So that's how it works.
Yeah, so it's more about just giving and then letting them talk to you if they want to know more or become an affiliate.
Yes, I mean, I might follow it up if I don't hear from them, of course. But no, yeah, exactly. It's that's on one level. That's with some people. With others, if you get your product in front of affiliates out there in marketplaces or wherever you are, then there are affiliates out there who don't. They just want to promote your products. So again, they will just literally decide to promote it. And I've got people who are running paid ads on my product as affiliates. They're paying for ads to sell my product. I've got affiliates making YouTube videos and all kinds of things. So there's different kinds of people out there.
So something I'm noticing is that all of this didn't happen overnight. So, I mean, how long did it take you from when you kind of got the idea of starting an online business to actually this coming up with the iPhone Video Hero product?
Well, I'm really rubbish at dates, but I'd say 2 years, sort of start around 2 years ago, then probably 8 months after that first product, then about 5 months after that, my second product. So, there's months in between all of this stuff while I sit and think, what am I going to do next? And also, one thing I want to give some credit as well. Like, it sounds like I've sorted this all out myself. Another tip here is invest some money in your training. I stumbled upon a podcast which you know about too, is called Foolish Adventure,
Yeah,
which
that's a great one.
run by Tim Connolly, and at that time there was Izzy was on it as well, and it was some kind of coincidence. But as I was thinking about my first product, they started talking about creating products, and that podcast helped me. I ended up signing up to the university that they run, and that was after my first product was launched. But I used some of that information for my second product, and I connected with people in there. I was lucky enough to be interviewed on the Foolish Adventure podcast myself. That gave me some exposure. And as you get out and about, again, so I'm going back to the last point, but as you get connected to people, and sometimes getting connected to people requires you to join, pay some money, take a real passion. If, for example, there's somebody in your niche who you think would be ideal as somebody who could promote your product, and if they run a membership site, join it because you're going to get inside their heads. You're going to see what makes them tick, and you can add value to their membership site by being in there. And that's sometimes the ways to get connected is actually to get your credit card out.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so easy when you join a membership site or join a course and you take action on the material and you give them feedback and talk about what results you've gotten. It's so easy to stand out because most people never take action. And that actually helps the course creators because they get testimonials and they get to show you off to other people and actually get more sales. And it's just a win-win all around.
Exactly right.
So before we wrap things up, I have a few questions. And I also want to kind of expand on the point that I see people kind of go through this beginning phase. Like I went, I think 3 years before things started clicking. So it seems like it's kind of like 2 to 3 to 4 years before people start figuring this stuff out and before they start making an income. So even if people are, or even if someone feels like it's not happening fast enough, then it's just that there are a lot of these like false promises by guru marketers and all that, and it takes longer than people think, but it is doable.
Yeah, no, I mean, totally. If I were to look back there, and well, hopefully I've given a few tips about things that kind of went wrong. But here's a thing that I see a lot in terms of people making false starts. Maybe this can be helpful. Is go for something, the obvious thing, something really obvious. Sometimes people are scared of the actual thing that's going to really work. It almost seems too good or too clear or too obvious, and they go off on a tangent. And I was trying to think of an example of this without kind of talking about anybody in specifically, which would be rude, of course. But in the general terms, I was thinking of an example of, say you are great at promoting music bands. That's your skill, like promoting music bands. Now, somebody like that could start dreaming about, the fact that they've created a great business for themselves doing this. Some people like that start thinking, great, I can be a kind of big business guru, a famous business guru. I can teach people how to create their own business, you know,
Yeah,
and be like a leader in my field for business. But as soon as they go broad like that, they're then trying to compete with all the zillions of other business gurus who have made it and who are trying to teach people, all businesses, how to be great business leaders, right? Whereas really for them, this person that helps promote bands, the more logical one would be create a training course to help bands promote themselves, right? Like this guy can't reach all the bands in the world, but he's got these skills, so he could create a course helping bands promote themselves, as opposed to creating a course, business leader, how to be a business leader, how to create a massive business. Do you see what I mean? So sometimes people kind of go off the track and they think like too big, whereas really they should be thinking smaller at the beginning.
yeah, and I mean, if I were that kind of like if I were helping bands promote themselves and I started thinking about like becoming a huge business leader, there's a pretty good probability that that wouldn't excite me at all. But like you said, if I focused on promoting bands, creating courses around that and content, that's something that actually would excite me, and it would probably feel like it's too good to be true, but that's actually where you should be heading.
Exactly, exactly.
So the last question I wanted to ask you is, what would you tell like the Jules in the past that's just starting out, if you could like call him up right now and give him some good advice?
Gosh, you ask tough questions. You're nearly as bad as that guy on Mixergy.
Yeah,
Great, Andrew's great. But if I was gonna, well, I'd say to him, create an iPhone video hero product,
yeah,
because I'd know right away. But of course, it's impossible. But I'd definitely, yeah, I'd say, yeah, think a little bit more niche. But I'd still say the same, like just do this, because I'd say just do it, because you've got to go through these processes. As soon as you get your content out there, you get your sales page up, you're learning every day. And I'm still tweaking and learning every day. So I'd still say to him, just go for it and it's going to be okay.
yeah. And I mean, that's basically the message I want to get across with everything I do is just to do it, because even if you fail, you'll learn so much more and you'll take those experiences to the next product or next project you launch. And even if that fails, then you'll just be even better for the next one. And if you keep going, eventually something will click and something will work.
Exactly, exactly. Just you're going to hit barriers along the way, whatever you're doing, but you've just got to push through that and see the change. I mean, for me, the change has been pretty significant. As soon as you start doing regular sales on a product, and you really get the sense of this kind of laptop existence. And oh, for example, I'll just give you an example. I went on holiday over the summer, and I remember last year when I went away on holiday for about 9 or 10 days. This was pre my current course, and I got maybe one or two sales, and I thought that's okay, but disappointed. But this year I went away, and I'd just done a webinar beforehand, so there was still people coming through from that, and I had been again working on marketing the product, and every 2 hours I checked my phone because I'm a bit obsessed with checking my phone. I had sales coming through, and I would like sit in a restaurant, and I've got a family, I've got kids. I would have a meal, nice meal. I'd just nip out of the restaurant at the end, nip to the bathroom because my wife hates me keep checking my phone, right? So I'd nip off, to check my phone, and it was paid for. It was incredible, and it was just a particularly good week. It doesn't always happen like that, but literally, I was getting sales coming through pretty constantly, and that when you get that experience, that just gives you so much more confidence to push through the next barrier.
Yeah, and it all starts small because I mean you actually started with just a simple blog where you focused on the flip cam and then you built it from there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's a good place to end things. So do you have any like last words you'd like to say?
Wow. Well, I would say, just don't believe anybody around you that says, this can't work or that you can't make money online or you can't, um, create your own sort of entity on the internet and get known because it's just not right. You can do this. You can do this. And if anyone's got any questions, I guess I'm sure it's going to be up on your site there. So I'd be happy to answer anything in the comments as well.
Yeah, and something I'd like to add to that is to not just not believe anyone around you that's negative, but also not believe the voice inside your head that's negative.
Sure, absolutely.
So where can people find out more about you if they want to use their iPhone to make awesome videos or just learn more about the stuff you do?
Well, the best place to see my training course and to see how I've set it all up is go to iPhonevideohero.com, iPhonevideohero.com. That's my product, and I've also got a fairly new blog actually, which is at videohero.com. So videohero.com, where I do write about online video and things like that. And iPhone Video Hero is the product.
Okay, and I'll link those up in the show notes. So thanks a lot for doing this interview, Jules. A lot of good stuff, and I hope people enjoy what you shared.
Great. Yeah, thanks very much for having me on.
All right, so that wraps up this episode. Again, I hope you enjoyed it because Jules shared a lot of great stuff. I always enjoy speaking with people who are in the trenches building their own business. So with all of that said, I leave you to your day or evening, depending on where in the world you are. And if you want to learn more about me and what I do, you can visit wakeupcloud.com, where I have lots of goodies if you want to learn how to build a lifestyle business. So I'll see you in the next episode. This is Henri signing out.